Greetings and welcome to step 9 of our Awakening in 30 Steps. Today's contemplation is on the preciousness of human life endowed with liberty and opportunity and engendering a great sense of appreciation. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey thus far. We have now completed the first 6 steps, which are called the 6 preliminaries, essentially our container for the therapeutic encounter with the archetypal mentor. And then we have evaluated the qualities of the mentor and of the student in order to optimize the mutual learning exchange. And in our interlude in last post, we discussed how to extract the essence of each of the contemplations that will follow on the gradual path using our juice press. So today's contemplation, the preciousness of human life, is really embedded in a very beautiful cosmology. But I wanted to compare and contrast it with the current cosmology or mythology that we find ourselves in the scientific reductionistic paradigm. So just travel on a journey with me for a second and imagine that at conception, we emerge spontaneously. And we live our lives essentially in a very mundane world. We make it through somehow those early challenging years of childhood. We are assailed by messaging from our culture and expectations to find the white picket fence dream, have a couple of children, find a good job, make a bunch of money, and then somehow at the end of the rainbow, we'll all be happy. And what we find, unfortunately, is we get old, we get sick, and when the last gasp of air exits our mouth or nose, and the heart stops and the electric activity in the brain stops, the game is over. And that is essentially the vacuum of our mythology. It's basically an empty, purposeless, meaningless life that we found ourselves according to science. No inherent meaning or purpose. Basically, get yours while you can, while the getting is good. Fight dog-eat-dog competitive atmosphere. You have to hold on for the nuggets that you can cobble up for the winter and protect them at any cost. And basically, in the end, everybody loses. That's the impoverished attitude that we've been indoctrinated into for the last 300 years. Here's a little bit of a different mythology now, if you would go on a little imaginary ride with me. Trace your mind back to the first cause, what's called the first cause, the origins of life. And there, according to the scientific paradigm, we would find something like the Big Bang. And if you ask yourself the logical next question, it would be something like, what came before the Big Bang? And there, of course, you would be confronted with a conundrum, which the Buddhists simply answer this way. Something cannot come from nothing, period. It's illogical, doesn't make sense that something arose from nothing. And even if you put God there, the logical question will force you to ask, how did God get there? Who created God? And so the Buddhists don't mess around here. They simply say, it's beginningless. Life is beginningless. Consciousness is beginningless. In fact, consciousness, just like energy, is beginningless and is not destroyed, never destroyed, infinite. So this is a different kind of mythology. And according to this mythology, we have our consciousness has been migrating since beginningless time through various realms, various harbors, various rooms, according to our karmic predisposition and our tendencies. We have ascended to great heights. We have descended to great despair. We have been on a very, very long journey. And we have been, in a way, stuck on a hamster wheel, caught between action and reaction. Our intentions and actions have created subjective experience. The experiences themselves have compelled us to react. Those reactions have created subjective experiences, and back and forth in a prison of our own making. And maybe the wallpaper changes a little bit, and maybe the cast of characters changes a little bit. But in essence, Through beginningless time, consciousness has been on a long journey. It has migrated to various states of mind and certain experiences with different flavors, but in essence, it has been trapped. Fundamentally trapped, ensnared in the veils of delusion, not seeing reality clearly, not knowing who we really are, and in a way, like a ship at sea, being tossed by the currents of our compulsions and our afflictions and our karma. But by the force of our own merit at some prior point, we have found a safe harbor from the tempest. Finally, the distant shore is in sight. We have found the precious human life. And the precious human life is characterized by just enough suffering to alert us and motivate us to seek shelter, to seek greater meaning, to seek greater purpose, to seek relief, but not enough suffering that we have become stagnated, stuck, contracted on ourselves. A perfect opportunity. A perfect opportunity. And then let's look a little closer in this mythology. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing is random. We have been born a human being out of all the possible life forms. Amazing. What a miracle. We have been born with intact senses. Well, this is not something to take lightly. It is with those intact senses, that power of reason and reflection, that we can meditate, that we can concentrate, that we can learn. We have been born with an intention or an interest in spiritual things that will help us look beyond the veil, that will help us open our heart, that is oriented towards meaning, purpose, and liberation. We have been born at a time where there was a Buddha, someone who awoke, someone who found their way across the great ocean, a great navigator. We have been born at a time where the teachings of the great navigator have been preserved and replicated, and lineages have arose. We have been born in a place where those teachings exist, and that there's enough freedom, even if it were just 10 minutes of freedom, and enough resources to support us to actually pursue those great teachings that would orient us and help usher us in to the other shore. And there are fellow comrades, peers, that can support us in that endeavor. And then there are a list of things that we are free from. We are free from excessive states of self-aggrandizement. We are free from excessive states of jealousy that would actually just harbor animosity. We are free from excessive states of anxiety that would cripple us. We are free from intensive addictions that would keep us yearning and pursuing other things. We are free from dissociative states of being absolutely fragmented, where there's not enough attentional space to even concentrate for a single minute. My friends, we have won the lottery. We have won the lottery. This is the contemplation on the preciousness of human life. We have not everything that we want, for sure, but we have everything that we need. And everything we need for what, you ask? Everything that we need to be liberated from this long, mindless journey caught between action and reaction and compulsive blindness. All systems are go today for liberation. And if you think that you're deprived, just look at the circumstance, condition of so many people and living beings across this planet right now, and you will soon quickly discover how privileged and how precious what you have and who you are actually is. And for those that don't have and aren't oriented and neither have the precious privileges or resources, it is our responsibility. It is our leisure and freedom and opportunity to serve them. And so just without even looking outwardly, looking inwardly with very delicate attention, we can see the tremendous bounty that we have. In fact, they liken the human being to an instrument of liberation. What you are is consciousness traveling through eons, through beginningless time, slowly by the force of your own virtue, not God, not random. You have shaped and molded yourself into the optimal instrument for liberation. We're so close. If you take a look at who you are and what you have and where you're going, we are so close. So close. And we should juice press this moment. We should juice press it. So here's a little assignment, if you care for one, on the preciousness of human life. You can go and find what are called the 10 fortunes and 8 liberties from the Buddhist list that refer to the qualities of the precious human life. A list of basically 10 things that we have and 8 things that we're free from. I would call this the original Buddhist gratitude list. You could look at those carefully and juice press them. Contemplate them with a reflective mind when you feel a tremendous sense of gratitude, like excitement, urgency, that you have just won the lottery. Juice press it. Or simply make your own list. Why don't you start with 5? 5 things that you have that make liberation at hand and possible. 5 things that you're free of that make it possible to pursue the gradual path towards liberation. I wouldn't suggest you post them. I mean, I think if you post the 5 things that you have and that you're free from, it may get misconstrued that you're kind of showcasing something and where so many people don't have what you have. So it may be, to use some discretion may be advised. People might misunderstand the exercise. Certainly, as we proceed along the gradual path, it will become clear that all that we have is not really ours. It leads to a sense of tremendous responsibility where we become morally responsible for those that don't have. But that's not at this stage of the gradual path, that's later. For this one, this is really about recognizing all systems are go. All systems are go. What a tremendous opportunity we have. Let's not blow it. It's so difficult to get it again. It's so difficult to have all the conditions and resources and inclinations come together again in the infinite realm of possibility in just this way. So I hope you've enjoyed today's reflection on the preciousness of human life, endowed with liberty and opportunity, in order to engender a sense of unbelievable gratitude. I look forward to moving into the next step with you. Until then, all best wishes.